firstly, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. There's been a lot of interest and a lot of response, so everyone is most welcome to attend, and we're grateful to have you along. And I guess the first person I should thank is Marcos Bays.
Thank you.
From Shellharbour Council, who's been grateful enough to share some of his time with us today to have a bit of a chat about service management in the COVID era and how Marcos has faced his challenges at Shellharbour Council. We'll do that, talk a little bit about For Me and how Marcos got started with the project, and then we'll finish up with any questions. So please feel free to post your questions in the chat if you like, and we'll respond to those as we move through. Okay, so the world has definitely changed, and COVID has imposed upon us, our lives, our work lives, and just our general living, a number of restrictions which have forced us as humans to change the way we behave. And one of the ways we've done that is being quite adaptable, we've went on the internet, right, to effectively close that gap. What's happened as a result of that is that the world has become an online marketplace, if you like, 24/7 online demand driven by constant changes. So employee productivity and support is fundamental to be able to support those external services that we're providing to our customers. Being able to track the cost and quality of those services internally is absolutely paramount. The logic being that your internal services actually underpin the external services that you're providing to your constituents and your customers. So we need to look internally to ensure that our external performance is ensuring that our business continue to thrive and prosper within this challenging timeframes. So the question is, does your service management platform stack up to the demands of this changing world that we live in? And of course, doing nothing is not an option. If you've got dissatisfied users, you've got challenges with fiscal accountability, you could be losing customers, you need to be able to have visibility as to the cost and the quality of the services that you're providing your customers. And this is where For Me can help. For Me, combining its ITIL, ESM and SIAM capabilities really is the complete service management platform to be able to support businesses, Marcos, in this changing era. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ask you to share with us a little bit about your business, about Shellharbour, what you do, your team, your services portfolio, and what has actually driven the need to change within your business.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Chris, thanks to Ed and Fusion5, and also For Me. So, yeah, look, introduction, a bit about me. I've been with Shellharbour City Council for 19 years. So next week will be 19 years. So definitely seen technology evolve. I've worked in the IT department since I commenced. Started out on the help desk, so I've got that first-hand experience working, you know, and having to assist customers. Over the years, you know, I've pretty much held every role, I'd say, within the IT department, and now I'm in the manager of the ICT, so Information Communication Technology team. So my team, I've got 8 staff members, and broken up into 2 teams. One's what we call desktop and devices, which we look after the help desk and service desk and all of the end user computing. My other team is infrastructure, so they look after all the anything behind the wall, sort of, you know, servers, networking, etc. However, my help desk team also provides first level support for our business technology or information solutions team, which is our corporate system. So we have one point of contact, and that comes through the help desk, and then, you know, they triage and allocate or escalate as required. So across the 2 teams, we look after all IT systems. So, you know, if it plugs into a PowerPoint, I'm sure if we don't look after it, they try and ask us about it. So yeah, so our portfolio is quite broad, and we really noticed that when we were setting up For Me, how broad it is what we do. It was real eye-opener through the process. that we didn't. It was interesting to see how much we did support. Probably something that we didn't realise before, and really helps us, I guess, qualifying and quantifying what we do, because at the end of the day, this is how we justify our existence. We justify what we do by capturing that information, having that, I guess, portfolio visible to the organisation to say, look, this is we support over 70 services. So we probably didn't have that visibility prior to building the For Me platform or implementing it. So so that's a bit about me, my team, and what we do.
Excellent. And I guess, like most organisations now, Marcos, your business being the business of IT and supporting your internal users, it's great to hear that your remit doesn't cover IT. I mean, you are all about supporting the business applications, business application users, and the relationship between IT and the business applications is becoming more and more important. I think what we're seeing that the business applications owners are relying more on IT to be able to assist them in delivering their services to the marketplace. So having that single view, that single capacity, a true enterprise service management approach is clearly the one that is going to support the business moving forward. So let's rewind. Well, where are we now? November. So let's take it back about 5 or 6 months now. Obviously, I've known you for a couple of years, Marcos, but I've open policy here. I've never sold you anything previously, but I've come down.
Difficult to sell stuff too, that's for sure.
But I've certainly came down and visited on a number of times. So look, I'm a little bit aware of some of the challenges that you had and some of the priorities you had as a business leader. But let's go back, 4 or 5 months. I picked up the phone and had a conversation with you about some of the challenges that I knew you had. But if you can pick it up from there, I introduced you to For Me and the technology and the platform, and the conversation went from there. But from your seat, from where you were sitting, what could you recognise For Me as a technology, as a new platform was going to be able to do that your existing platforms or other platforms that you'd looked at in the marketplace couldn't do?
So look, So what I'll add a bit more context to and prior to just 5 months, and just to give, I guess, paint a bit more of a picture.
Sure.
So and it touches on one of your previous slides, or your second slide, I think it was. That what we do underpins the way council delivers services to all of Shellharbour City Council, the ratepayers, community members, etc. So traditionally, IT was never had that thought process. It was all about IT, and we would find more ways to say no, or any way to say no to something than to say yes. My approach is that no, we have to do whatever we can to provide a service, because what we do, all the way from the help desk and one of our staff members can't print, that has a flow-on effect to the service they deliver to, someone wanting to build a house or someone wanting to get a pool installed, because, we are the tools. My team are part of that toolkit, and the services that we deliver are the tools that our staff require to deliver services. To give you, before we jump into the 5 months ago, to give you an idea of how important IT is now seen within the organisation, that a few years ago, the organisation conducted a cultural survey review, and IT was a question or series of questions within a cultural survey. So IT has an impact on culture. So just, 5 years ago, IT and culture would have been, what are you talking about? That's how important IT is, that it's the fabric of an organisation. So, for me, the problem I had was, how do we keep up with delivering that level of service that the organisation expects? And the way I do that is using a tool, a ITSM tool that will give me that visibility, will give me the reporting, will give me the dashboard, the real-time information to ensure that we're providing the best level of service that we can. Obviously, it's not about providing, an instant service for every time something breaks, but it's about providing a service that you know, is reasonable, and it's within what we can, you know, provide. So yeah, so I had some challenges around visibility. I was struggling to see, you know, what we did and how effective we were. We were trying to create reports that we had to massage every single time, and I report every month and every quarter, and it was a massive overhead to do that, and the reports weren't accurate.
Right.
Which is probably the most important thing.
Yeah. And that touches on, you know, the whole philosophy of trust, right?
Yeah.
We need to build trust. We who work in IT, there's been, you know, an unfortunate disconnect over the years and an element of distrust, if you want to be brutally honest with each other, between IT and the business, where both parties have looked at each other somewhat and shrugged their shoulders and not known what the other party was doing. Those barriers are being broken down, and certainly with technologies like 4Me, where the cost and the quality of the service that you provide can be quite visible through service cost tracking, what we're seeing is the business owners have got a better appreciation, Marcos, for the effort that your team actually puts into ensuring that they can do their jobs on a daily basis, right? Yeah. So you realised you had to go through, or there was an opportunity for you to go through a series of changes. Obviously, you went out to marketplace. No one makes decisions these days without testing the market and ensuring that you're getting value for money, let's say. How did you come to choose 4Me? What was your decision-making criteria and that of your team?
So COVID was definitely, well, you know, it's interesting, you know, COVID has really shaped our lives, you know, especially in the technology space. So we've become, I guess, in some instances, heroes, because, you know, without IT, you know, the world would have stopped. So as a result of the challenges we face with our current system, you know, one of the big major requirements was that it was accessible anywhere, anytime. So that's a big thing with us. It's got to be cloud and it's got to be accessible anywhere, anytime. I'm big on not worrying about, I call them commodity services. So email, for example, you know, I don't want to have to manage email servers because our customers don't care about that. They care about value add services. So same with this, they just want a system that they know that they can, you know, request, log an issue, whatever it may be. They don't care where it is. They don't care if it's hosted on in our data center in the cloud. They just need to know that it's on, and every time they go to use it, it's going to work and it's going to be consistent. So I'm big on, you know, those type of systems where there is no value in us watering, feeding it, managing, maintain it. I don't want to do that. I want to put that onto the vendor, let that be their responsibility. But I have to manage that with the cost as well. So I don't have an unlimited bucket of money.
No.
I need to manage my you know, resources, which includes, you know, my budget, and make sure that I in this instance with 4Me is that I picked a solution that was affordable, fit for purpose, and ultimately value for money. So yeah, we went out to market. We looked at 4 products, and you know, and we landed with 4Me, where we felt that was looking forward. So not only for the short term, but the what 4Me, their roadmap and their vision really aligned with the way we wanted to approach the way we do business here.
Yeah. And I recall during our initial engagement, and this was one of the things that impressed us and the team at Fusion5 with 4Me, was that I recall we had a session with the team, and one of your team members asked for a specific feature, whether that was going to be made available within 4Me, and bearing in mind at this point of view, we're in pre-sales mode. We hadn't sold you anything, and 4Me, being a pure SaaS solution, they deliver upgrades every Sunday night, which are free. So no annual forced upgrades, right, which turn into costly projects.
Or you don't do, like what we've done, we just don't do it.
You ignore them, right? Exactly. And what's the business cost of that, right? So, you know, and 4Me delivers a piece of functionality that Shellharbour as a business required without you even being a customer. And that really does point to the DNA of the vendor, which we think is a critical part of any sound business relationship. Which,
definitely.
Thank you for that. So you chose 4Me It was implemented in really record time, and we have Michelle Leggett here with us. Michelle is our 4 main lead from a consulting point of view. I'm going to let you spend, 5 minutes talking about that experience, and
or as long as you like, really. I don't say that. I could be here 2 hours later talking about it. So look, so I'll just touch on the procurement. And for those in local government or understand local government, there is a procurement process we need to follow. So that was followed, and that included, getting multiple quotes and doing that due diligence. So, we selected for me. So the implementation. So I remember one of the first kickoff meetings. My view was like, I want Fusion5 to do everything. As we got through it, I realised that that we had to take ownership, and the reason why was because otherwise we wouldn't be able to support it going forward, and we wouldn't know what we know and translate the way the business operates to work within the 4Me platform. So when I delivered the training for council staff, I explained it as in we were given a shell, a platform, and we built it from the ground up. And it's very flexible. There's a lot of there's a lot of thinking that needs to be put into how you approach it. I think understanding the system and the capabilities, and you don't really understand that until you go through and start building it. But that helped us as we went through the project really get it to the point where it's very customer focused. So the solution was built with the customer in mind. That was hard for my teams or the IT teams because they wanted to build for what they want. And I was like, no, you're not the user of the system. We're a key stakeholder in the system, but our users are our customers. We want to encourage our customers to use the portal and to log their requests via that. So there were a lot of questions, especially from me, because I'm not really a hands-on person at the moment. I've been away from the tools for a while, but I really got involved in this because I really wanted it to see it be successful. So I had a lot of questions, like asked Michelle, like we at times got bogged down because I needed to understand the system, but there was an answer every single time that I asked a question, and if that feature or there was something that it didn't quite do what we wanted, within a week, sometimes less, it was in there. Wow. I know before we were still in pre-sales, I think I went through something like 10, 15 questions that my team had, and every single question got answered, and where it wasn't available, and that was a feature you were talking about, was available within a week or so. Yeah. So very impressed with the whole approach that we took, the support, so not only from Fusion5 but from 4Me, the community portal. I was on there within the first week. I became like a top ranked user. We got ideas, so like really impressed, and the entire team absolutely love it. They really, like, I've never seen them so excited about an IT system as I have with 4Me, which is quite good to see. We went live this Monday, as in we went live with the self-service portal. Right. So we went live a few weeks ago on the back end, but we only published the portal on the Monday it just went past because we had to do training. Even the training, we had over 140 staff attend. I think I made comment to you earlier on today that it was probably one of the highest participation rates for training that wasn't mandatory. So, which is, when you think about it, for a self-service portal, for an IT system, I was quite surprised. And there was a bit of change management that went into that, but also the way we sold it, which I pretty much plagiarized some of the wording from the proposal and use some of that to sell it to our staff and the whole Google style search that 4Me offers, and very successful. It's in 1 week or less than a week, it's already changed the way we operate. And what I mean by that, I've got a few staff on leave, and I'm big on having staff go on leave the week we go live, and call me crazy, but I believe that if a project has been delivered and you've done everything right, it shouldn't matter who's available that week. And it's always a good sign of a successful project if you can go live with a project, and you actually you're down a few staff.
Without having a red team at the ready to put out all those
It means
slides.
the work and the effort has been put in, because, you know, if you go live and you're prepared for the worst, it means you're not ready. You know, so, yeah, so it just happened.
That's a great insight, man.
Yeah, it just happened to be that I had one help desk staff member and the team leader of the the help desk on leave this week, and we've gone live, and our phone calls to the service desk have reduced. A massive change that we implemented was you can no longer email the help desk.
I think that's fantastic, and I'm trying to teach myself not to interrupt, but Marcos. That's a fundamental change, right? That's a transformational change in businesses, and we hear it all the time, right? We talk to a lot of people, and what are you trying to achieve? How are you going to streamline your operations? How are you going to be able to respond quicker with better information, right, to the people who need it immediately? And talk to me about switching off email. What impact has that had?
It's had minimal negative impact, and it's been positive. It's had a positive impact. And just an example, so we turned on the can auto reply and saying thank you, but due to the upgrade, we you know, you need to log us through the iHelp portal. We've put a link in there. So through the training, I didn't talk about the turning off of emails as a bad thing. I talked about it as why we're doing it and how it can actually deliver a better service. So I think since we turned off the emails, so there was a few people that, you know, obviously didn't turn up to the training. So they've actually, those people, because I checked the list. So the emails that we received, I then checked the list, the training list, and they didn't turn up to training. So but then they've gone and logged the request in for me. And we've had, I think, 4 emails get sent to that old service desk email, which we used to get at least 50 a week, and our phone calls are down, and the calls are still coming in, the requests are coming in, because I'm seeing them come in, and we've got all of our staff still working from home. So they're at home in the comfort of their own home, and they're searching for the service that they need to submit a request against, and they're actually they're pretty much getting it spot on. So we've had a couple actually withdraw the request, which was one of the features that you know, that For Me offered, and I really showed them that in the training. And I said, like, if you find out that it works, the next time you go try it, I showed them how we withdraw it. So we've already had a couple of requests withdraw because they've resolved it, a reboot or something like that. So we've almost made our staff a bit more self-sufficient. So I want to make sure I don't do my team out of a job. But what I talk to them about is, if we don't have to worry about this stuff as much, we can do the more exciting things, which is delivering projects.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Focus on the things that the business needs to be good at. Absolutely.
The value add. They don't care about, you know, servers and emails. They do care about emails, but they don't care that it's here, there. They just want to consume the service. They are consumers, and we need to take that mentality, and local government especially needs to really change that view that they don't need us, we need them. But, you know, sometimes there can be that, you know, no, we're going to do it the way we want to do it because that's what IT want, as opposed to what the business needs. So, you know, and for me, just it fit into that that philosophy that we have here.
And I'm guessing feedback from your peers within the business hierarchy at council is similarly positive.
So my manager, he was like, he couldn't wait to log a request because he was so impressed with. He just wanted to log one just to see, you know. He goes, I've got to find one to submit a request. We had our directors, so, you know, which they're like our directors and our structures directors, and then our general manager. They even attended the training because there was interest there. So we had support all the way from the top all the way through. So very, very good it was.
All right, and lessons learned or advice, and please, this is a bilateral conversation, so we're always striving to get better ourselves. So it's great to hear that the project was such a success, and I understand that you've got other things in train to expand utilisation of the format platform within councils. But for other people on the call, Marco, some of your peers at other councils, any lessons learned or advice for anyone else who's out there in the marketplace considering a new enterprise service management platform?
So look, lessons learned from, I guess, the project itself. Like, you know, I guess be willing to change the way you think. So that was a big one for me. You know, and like, especially coming from a one platform to another, is you just need to, I guess, trust the experts. You know, and in this case, was working with Fusion5 and For Me and Michelle, especially trust the experts. And I guess let go of what you did and believe that it's going to work. So that was, for me, that was probably the hardest. In not that I didn't trust the experts, was I just couldn't get out of that mindset that I had before. Look, the big one for me is developing that good relationship with the Fusion5s or the For Me, to then, when there is an issue, get onto it straight away. You know, with every project there are challenges.
Sure.
I'm sure I spent many hours on the phone with Ed, saying I wasn't happy with this, or this didn't go the way I expected, and we resolved it. And it didn't derail the project. If anything, it helped us then really focus on where we needed to go. So don't wait till the end to then complain about something hasn't worked. You know, address it. So with me and my team was, don't get frustrated. Talk to me. Let me know what you're not happy about. I will take it. And then, you know, and there was, like I said, Ed and I had plenty of conversations about things that, you know, I wasn't sure about this, or this should have been done this way, and all the feedback was taken.
And it's all about executive sponsorship, and that's why you can tell my team, my whole department's passionate about this stuff. So we will always, I guess that's where we're different as well. I'll always make myself available to the, you know, which And
for my team, it's like I always say, don't complain unless you've got, you know, come to me with a solution or what you want. Don't just whinge for the sake of complaining. So that's important, and it all comes back down to it's that positive mentality. And you know, with anyone that's worked in IT, every IT system has its challenges. If you go into implementing a system thinking everything's just going to be smooth sailing, like, you're probably in the wrong industry. You need to accept there's going to be challenges. Look, overall, we got there. I thought, you know, even though we didn't go at rapid speed, it was still within, and that was because of us. We had a lot of questions, but I wasn't confident in moving forward until all those questions were answered. And in saying that, we still implemented it in a fairly quick time.
Yeah, and you also addressed the organisational change management piece with enthusiasm, right? And that's, you can see that's evidenced by the take up and the willingness of the users to
the user adoption.
Right, user adoption. So, look, it's been great talking to you. Your feedback really validates the For Me promise, right? And For Me makes it easier and more affordable to combine ITSM, ESM, and SIAM capabilities, which makes it possible for all of your internal departments, not just IT, HR, facilities, and your external service providers, reference the SIAM model, to work together to ultimately provide a better quality of service to the people both inside your business and your external constituents within the LDA, to keep them happy, which ultimately that is our job.
That's what we're here for.
That is what we're here for. Okay, so just finally, the why for me. So we've spoken about your journey for the people who have joined me on the call. I guess if you wanted me to wrap up the For Me value proposition in a couple of bullet points, well, here it is. As you know, Marcos, they're recognised by Gartner. It is a complete service management platform with a combined ITSM, ESM and SIAM framework all in one. We're locally hosted in Australia, which was one of your prerequisites when we gathered together. So we do cater for all Australian and New Zealand privacy legislation requirements. Uniquely For Me has a consumption-based license model, which I knew was very, very attractive to yourself. It's from as little as $60 per user per month, and that's all inclusive, Marcos. There are no additional costs, right? No costly upgrades. Implement in 4 to 6 weeks, and I guess this is the message that you've been sharing with us this morning. It sounds like it's been a relatively simple and easy process, and it's been a delightful experience for us to work with you. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank Fusion5. Thanks For Me. Special thanks to Michelle. So a lot of patience, especially with myself. and my team had a lot of patience with me as well. But that's just the way I do things. So big thank you, because I believe the success of the project and any system is implementation.
Yeah, and getting started is easy. The same way we did with you. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We're happy to do a demo, deep dive. Commercials are one line item. That
was the easiest part.
It is, and it's and from my perspective at all as well, it takes away a lot of angst and pain in the relationship. I mean, I've worked for a number of ITSM vendors, and the last thing you want to do is get an invoice that's 3 pages long. It grows every time you get one, both in terms of content and the price at the bottom, and you scratch your head and go, how did I get here and what am I paying for? But we'll never have that conversation. So Marcos, thank you once more. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to your next steps with the For Me platform, and please, I know you know this Fusion5, we're here to help, mate. So thank you.
And look, we're already talking about the next, like on that slide, continuous improvement. So we've implemented, and the next day we're already looking at what else we can do. So that's how I guess refreshing it is, because we know there's still so many more things that we can do within the platform. What we've got, like the demo is great because it's got all of it's got everything, covers everything. But happy to show if there's anyone out there that they can see how we're using it in a real environment. So not only reports. So one of my team, and this is how easy it was. They went in, created a dashboard, and we've got now a dashboard with live information based on open requests that haven't been assigned, and all their requests. And so I've got all this information that I'm actually going to set up a couple of screens in the IT area that we can all see it live.
And there was another follow-up from Sandeep. Also would like to know how Shellharbour manages queues and prioritize tickets, etc. Probably not a bad question about the categorization. How?
So the way we do it, like we've taken a very simple approach, but you can get very complex if you wish to, in regards to basically the prioritization or based on the impact and how quick you want to address tickets. So we've got a basic P1, P2, P3, P4, and we prioritize it based on they come in as a standard, like without being prioritized, and then triaging, and then we prioritize it based on the impact. So very standard ITIL type of approach, and then they get escalated or passed on to other teams. So very simple. They all come in. You've got every single. So the way For Me allows you to from the outset, that request that comes in, you can have that go straight to a team. So we have everything go straight to the service desk, because that's the way we operate. And then they go in, triage. But what we've also got is for certain requests for changes, which is to do with our corporate systems, that bypasses the service desk and goes straight to that team. And that was done by that type of request and a request for change, and we've just gone, set it to automatically go to that team. So without even have to, that just happens, and it sits in their queue unassigned, and then they go through and do whatever they need to do. So very flexible.
Awesome. And we do have just a couple more questions for you, Marcos. You mentioned that you had about 70 services. One of the attendees wanted to just drop some maybe examples of the non-traditional IT ones or things,
So look, when I say we've got about 70 services, what we did was we broke down some of our larger products into services. So I'll use, for an example, we use Technology One. So for those in local government know that they're one of the main systems that you're using local government, and we've got pretty much everything Technology One for all of our ERP. So we broke down the modules into services because it allows it to get even more granular in reporting, in troubleshooting, in being able to prioritize the requests that come through. So taking that away, the rest are services such as software. Each piece of software is essentially a service, and that was what took me the most to get my head around. the whole concept of services
and service instances.
Yeah, and service instances.
Yeah.
So I don't think if anything, I think I've improved what we have from what we had. So you know, it was very static, let's say, if you want to, for lack of a better word, the way we approached.
Not fluid.
Yeah, it wasn't fluid. I can now get details right down to a product, and you know, and then you know, to say, okay, we're having a whole heap of issues with our, you know, our cash receipting system, and we've done that because we've listed that as a service.
Perfect. So, and just conscious of time, one last one. What's next on your journey?
So
on your For Me journey?
Yeah, so For Me journey is really taking advantage of the automation capabilities within the solution around tasks and changes, and like, yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface. So we've really, I wanted just to go live with a product that more customer focused. So let's capture all the details that we need, and now I want to start improving the way from a back office how we operate. So automation, and you know, using all the tasking and all that within For Me, that's the next step for us.
What about project portfolio management?
Yeah, and project and asset management, and so there's so much there, but we just wanted to get the core, which was all of the services and the self-service portal. So yeah,
you're just getting started.
We're just getting started, and I can just see the benefits both from a customer and from an IT resourcing, you know. So yeah, can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks again, Marcos. Thank you, folks, for joining us today. And yeah, please just go to our website, start a conversation, and we're here to help. And yeah, thanks again, everyone.
Yeah, well, thanks, Marcos.
No worries. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.